You are listening to GHP Radio, powered by iTrackRadio.com, your independent music source. Fresh, new music, right here on the all-new GHP Radio, your new independent music source.
Goodbye. again. I'm playing a game I can't win. Love's knocking on the door of my heart once more. Think I'll let her in before I begin. Foolish heart, hear me calling. Stop before you start falling. Foolish heart, heed my warning. You were wrong before. Don't be wrong anymore. Foolish heart, stop before you start falling. Foolish heart, heed my warning. Please don't be wrong I knew someday we'd find a way here, and here we are, all alone. No need for words, our hearts are speaking loud and clear, and I'ma give you what you want. Relax your mind, 'cause all I wanna do is please you. Keep you satisfied. And I'm gonna take my time, 'cause tonight we're going on. I won't stop till you get enough. Oh, good loving all night. I can't stop till you get
listening to GHP Radio, powered by iTrackRadio.com, your independent music source. Fresh, new music, right here on the all-new GHP Radio, your new independent music source.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the Indie Live Spot. Glad you can be here and tune in with us today because we have a wonderful, wonderful, great guest today. Uh, this guy, man, I tell you, he's got so much going on. Good friend, collaborator, and then just a sensational guitarist, artist, and author. And I want you all to help me welcome Mr. Maurice Johnson in the house. Welcome to the show, Maurice.
Watch out, Reese. Watch out, Reese.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And then, of course, we have our good guest host, Mr. Jazzy K. Ward's in the house.
Everybody.
Yeah. Thank you for coming over and hanging out with us today, Jazzy. And
yeah, I'm happy to be here.
yeah, appreciate your support over on your radio station too this morning. You got a lot of great stuff going on. We can definitely get into that a little bit later as well. Joy Spencer, she's out today. She's actually in, kind of hanging out with family. They got a big family gathering today, so she just told me to tell everybody hello, and she'll be back with us next week. But man, here we are with this Arthur. Of course, we know about your music. We just got through playing some of the music too, Maurice, right before the show. But man, just welcome back to the show, man, and congratulations on that new book.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Glad to have it done, have it finished.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's great book. I finally got to read through it all, and like I said, it was such a great book to read because I hadn't read a book in a long time, actually, a book. You know what I mean? But you actually gave me an incentive to actually read one completely, and like I said, when I first got mine, I was so excited to read it because I knew what the whole thing was going to be about, and it was just, man, like I said, I can't say enough. It was such a great book, and everything. But what I like to, I guess, start out asking you about is, because I know you like I said, you've been writing books for a while. They were mostly all related to music, the business and things of that nature. But this one's more, like I said, it's more like an I can't even talk this morning or this afternoon. Yeah. So it's more like that, and it was a great story because it really opened up the things that you went through growing up as a kid, and then of course before because you lived in the same town with me where I live, growing up and stuff. But a lot of folks that we all grew up together here, a lot of us didn't know about your journey before you actually came to El Reno, Oklahoma. So it was really it was a great story, and like I said, Ray mentioned a little bit earlier before we came on the air, it definitely would make a great movie. I don't care where you're from. I mean, it was
Nice.
yeah. But anyway, Maurice, so tell us what's been up, man.
Well, man, I just feel I've been constantly evolving, just doing different things as many of my followers or fans may have noticed. You don't hear me playing much music these days because COVID kind of switched things and things kind of came to a relative demise music-wise, so I wasn't playing much. So it gave me an opportunity to bury my mind into other things, and plus get into my book. And I started that some time ago, and I told myself, well, I'm going to take this time and really get into it and make that happen. So this is the result. But other than that, I'm just constant evolution, even the guitar part of me.
Wow, that's so cool. And what was so cool about the book too, when you read it, it really puts the whole picture behind you as far as how you actually did get started in music, with your guitar and everything. That was a wonderful story, and everything. So, but yeah, I really did enjoy it. And I missed when you came to El Reno for the your book signing here at the library. Didn't you have it scheduled?
No.
Oh.
That hasn't happened yet. That's September.
It's coming up. Okay, good.
September 2nd.
Oh, okay, awesome. What time of the day is it going to be going on that day?
I think it's like 5 to 7. I have to look at that again. In the evening. I have to.
Okay, good. Because that's what I was kind of wondering, if it's going to be in the evening. That way I can kind of make it and stuff, just to support and all. But yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about your what I guess I want to know is what really made you want to write this particular book, because compared to all the other books that you wrote.
Well, this book, basically, I started out wanting to know a little bit more about myself, a little bit more about where I came from. Back in 2013, I started an ancestry account. So where I started, checking, getting my ancestry and finding out about my great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents, so forth and so on. And as I began to write more and more, it evolved into something different. And I kind of told myself, I said, this is something I need to leave for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, so they'll know what life was like or where they came from.
Absolutely.
Through my eyes as young Timmy Johnson, yes, it's stories about me, but at the same time, it's stories about them too. Mm-hmm. And so it's something, a legacy to leave behind, so to speak.
Nice. Very nice.
Awesome. That's good. And I would. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kay.
I wanted to ask you, Maurice, but so when people, read this book, I was when Gary sent me the link about the book, the title really stood out to me. The Dragonfly Summers, A Dream Before Tomorrow. Why that title of the book?
Okay, all right. That's a compelling question. Dragonfly Summers implies to me childhood innocence. Childhood days of innocence. That's what I get out of Dragonfly Summers. As far as the subtitle is concerned, A Dream Before Tomorrow, 1964 was a pivotal point for me when my mother died. So it marks the end of my childhood dreams. So as little Timmy Johnson in Milwaukee, I'm having my dreams. You go to sleep and you dream you can fly, all this and that. And next thing you know, somebody's tapping you on the shoulder saying, Timmy, wake up. Mama's in the hospital. And next thing you know, going forward, all my childhood dreams came to an end. So it was my last childhood dream, a dream before tomorrow, because when tomorrow came, things were different.
Wow. Thank you for explaining that. That's a compelling, beautiful story there. Title.
Well, go ahead, Gay. Go ahead, finish your thought.
I wanted to I'll also ask you, like, people that decide to read this book, what do you want them to take away from the book once they read it? Or the hope?
Well, one thing that I incorporated in this book, I guess to capture other points of interest and make it relevant for those readers as well, are historic parallels that were occurring during the times at various stages in my life growing up. So not only whether they could relate to my particular story or not, they could relate to the times that they were in. So if we're talking about the moon landing in 1969, July 20th, everybody can relate to that. Walter Cronkite, telling everybody the ship has landed, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, historical parallels, everybody can relate to those.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I'm probably with her. I just can't wait to see what you had to say about me.
Well, I'm gonna say me too.
I can't wait. Look at it. That's why I'm slowed down on it, because I'm anticipating. I don't want to have a heart attack, when I read about me. That anticipation, you know what I mean? Yeah.
One thing I'll say to that, Ray, is I didn't grow up by myself. I was me, my siblings, and my friends, my childhood friends, everybody that I came to know as I grew up, and you guys were a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah. Because I remember when I came back from, I think I come back from Vietnam. You were sitting on your auntie's porch, strumming this guitar with 2 or 3 strings that David bought you.
well, it was. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, or your Uncle Leon got it one way. Somehow you got this guitar and you out there messing around with. And I heard you strumming. I said, And I walked over there and was there. And I said, Maurice, one day I'm gonna promote you. Remember that?
I remember.
And it happened.
It did.
It happened. Boy, I tell you, huh?
You were consistent with that.
Oh yeah. And the thing is that, man, this young man here wanted to be one hell of a guitarist.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yes. One hell of a guitarist. Oh yeah.
Was the guitar always your first love, Maurice?
Oh no, my aspiration was to be an artist. As a matter of fact, I speak very little of the art side of me in my book. But yeah, I was the kid. My aspiration was to one day become an animator for Walt Disney Studios.
Yeah.
And people who grew up with me and through school, they knew me as the kid who always carried a sketch pad. I was always drawing and something like that. But yeah, that was my aspiration, art.
Yeah.
You know, so many things. An artist, writing books, guitars. Hell, what you gonna excel in next?
The sky is the limit.
Yeah, man, you might as well get on up there. They finna shoot up there on the moon here on Monday. You might as well go on up there with them.
No, I'll deal with that from afar.
Okay. Just check it.
From the perspective, I think man should be looking at it from afar.
Yeah.
And should intrude upon him.
I know that's right.
But like I said, I've been knowing you. Oh God, when y'all first came to Oklahoma to El Reno.
Oh yeah.
And as kids and stuff, I was a kid myself, but I'm a little older than y'all though. But I remember, I know the whole family. Put it that way.
Oh yeah.
And things like that. Your brothers, Jethro, which we call him Jed.
Okay.
I call him Jed. Me and my brother call him Jed. Jethro Bodine, Jed, Uncle Jed.
Y'all remember 4J? Remember that?
4J. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But see, 4J, it never just stick with me like Jed did. Now, Jed, he was very talented also. In computers, artist also. Safaris was very talented. David was very talented. I can't say too much about Marcel because Marcel got killed in the car wreck very young.
Yes, he was quite a worker.
Yeah. But the rest of them, Mary Louise, all that was very talented. That's where they get all this talented from. Where they get it all from. That's always been a mystery to me, where people get those talents. If your family is not a musician or a singer or anything, but here come this child that's also singing and going on playing guitars and stuff, doing their thing. That's always been a mystery.
Yeah.
I guess that could also go back to probably some of your great great grandparents or other family members that you may not know about that we probably get some of those gifts from.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's why we was talking behind the scene a few minutes ago about everybody's done ancestry. I've been looking at doing the Black ancestry to find out more about who I am, just not the small piece that ancestry gives, because there's a lot of variables. They finna hit the country or your origin, your tribe of your origin. They're gonna do that. But I got to give a credit to this young man here, boy. He has wowed me for a lot of years. And myself and Gary was having to be at a concert back on the 4th. Was it the 4th?
Oh, you talking about just recently at the Charlie Christian Festival?
Yeah. Look here. These cats been, hadn't played, together like 30 years or whatever. But they never missed a beat. But they say they did, which no doubt they did. But that audience thing wasn't gonna tell it. Then I jumped up and hollered. I said, "I'm the one that promoted them."
He did. I remember that.
Oh my God!
But he made it known.
I made it known. If they did know, they knew then. But like I said, this boy has been so phenomenal. He wrote this one thing called Gigorama to help artists, to schedule their performance and different things like that. Then he had another little deal called "Give Me My Money." He had to say, "Give me my damn money." That's what he should have kept it like that. Give me my damn money. He wrote planners and stuff for musicians. What was that other one? Your music career. I'm looking back in his background. I don't think I see either one of them up there.
Well, this is a new version of it, an updated version. The original was Build and Manage Your Music Career.
Right.
With mixed books and Arts Pro Press, but I recently revised that one a couple of years ago, just for the heck of it. But yeah.
Just for the heck of it. Hell, he sold it to one of the clearinghouses, Mel Bay. You know what?
One before that, yes.
The one before that through Mel Bay, and that's one of the top music clearinghouses, for books and stuff. Yeah. So I can give you the history of this young man. He's a guitar builder. The Coleco guitar. He's got the from Charlie Christian's daughter, Billie Jean. He got the rights from her to build this guitar. Him and Joe Dale, they built some guitars. They had one that was in the Smithsonian. The Blue Series was a blue guitar. Done very well with them guitars. So I'm gonna leave it. That leads on into you, Reese.
You leaving me the floor with that?
Yes. I know he was like, I could tell you about Maurice's history. I was like, well, let him tell his history.
I can tell his history. I can tell his history.
I think Ray's trying to get in that second book.
But yeah,
right.
I don't know what pushed me to write. When we had the band, people would come up to me and ask me questions about business, and that kind of encouraged me to kind of do something from a business perspective. So I came up with something I called Gigs Monthly Planner for the Professional Musician. And I self-published that in around 1987. That was long before we do what we do today as far as self-publishing is concerned.
Yeah.
I went to a local printer here in Oklahoma City, and I was able to get it spiral bound at a place called in Ardmore. I can't remember the name of the place, but I was able to do that. And subsequently, I was able to get them in a popular music store back then. That was Driver Music in Bethany. Remember that, Ray?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Uh-huh.
And after that, a week or so later, a jobber, excuse me, I'm sorry, a jobber bought a few. He said, I'd like to buy 6 dozen. I said, cool. So when he kind of distributed them through various bordering states, and the following Sunday, he called me, says, I need at least 6 dozen more. I said, okay. And so I knew I kind of was on something. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. That went for a while, and eventually it came to, it dissipated. And I always knew it had some merit, so I refashioned it and pitched it to Mel Bay in 93. And a few weeks later, he contacted me and says, yes, we'd like to send me a contract.
Wow.
I said, wow.
Wow.
And it happened so quick. As a matter of fact, couple of months later, he says, yes, we'd like to get it in the NAMM show, National Association of Music Merchants. The upcoming NAMM show, which was just a few months away, and back then, the winter NAMM was in January in Anaheim, California.
Right.
So it must have been around November or so when I did a contract. And then, lo and behold, a few short months later, it was at the NAMM show. So that kind of launched things for me. It made me, feel like I had some ideas. So then I really wanted to write a real book. I say a real book. And that's when I ended up writing Build and Manage Your Music Career and pitched it to Mixed Books.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys, I have a scratchy throat. And that was published in 2006, in 96. And at the same time, when I was writing that, I was developing Gigorama software for business management software for musicians. So, and at the same time, we were doing the band. I was always multifaceted.
Very much so, yeah.
Doing that thing. And I'm so sorry, man.
You okay? It's going around.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was in bed all day Wednesday. But After Five was doing their thing, and at one point I was introduced to a gentleman by the name of Mr. James W. Dale, who built guitars, who was building a guitar. So lo and behold, we became partners. It just kind of happened silently. We ended up establishing a company called Delico Acoustic Instruments, where we handcrafted instruments, and subsequently we were able to acquire the posthumous trademark of the Charlie Christian name. I was always into marketing, and I love that kind of thing, so I would kind of work on those kind of things and negotiate those opportunities, or look for those opportunities, and was very blessed to come across some things, and actually met the daughter of Charlie Christian in conjunction with, we came to know a law firm, trademark and patent law firm who represented us, handled trademarks for us. We had a federal trademark, which is very expensive, but we were fortunate enough to get that done, which gave us the legal authority to have our instruments built under the Charlie Christian name and mass produced with major manufacturers. And here I am today.
That is so cool. So cool. And I can remember when you guys were doing that, because I was so fascinated about, wow, especially after we seen that very first, what was it, Protege or so of the first. What was the first one?
Well, one of the first one was a Manhattan. As a matter of fact, I think I got a picture right here. I'm gonna throw this. Cool. This is a picture of Jim. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
It's Jim and I on some show. That's one of that's maybe about the third instrument he had built. Very interesting. So I still have the prototype to the Charlie Christian solo flight that I played for many years.
Yeah.
And I still have that.
Wow. Man, talk about that when y'all because I know you had to go when all that was going on. You had to actually make a trip to New York City and
Yes.
meet with a lot of folks, and then like I said, like Ray was saying a little bit earlier, you guys also did like a special edition blue type of guitar. Is that right? Is that the one that went to the Smithsonian? Yeah.
The blue guitar was a collection that was commissioned by a wealthy individual in New Jersey by the name of Scott Chinnery. He obviously had an affinity toward arch-type guitars. He was a big fan of D'Angelico. Well, actually, Jimmy D'Acquisto, who happened to be D'Angelico's understudy many years ago. When D'Acquisto died, now these are luthiers, guitar builders, well-known guitar builders in the New York/New Jersey area. And so when D'Acquisto died, I'm sorry, the D's are kind of messes with you. He commissioned several luthiers throughout the country, I think 23 in all. So there was a magazine we were dealing with out of New York, 20th Century Guitar Magazine. We had a good relationship with them. And they contacted us and said, hey, you guys be interested in being part of the blue guitar collection? We didn't know what that was. I said, tell us. So yeah, so he after explaining it to us, so he put us in contact with Scott Chinnery, or whoever his representative was. And lo and behold, we were sent the specs, and there was everybody's instrument had to be a certain size and certain color, and everybody was required to buy their paint and stain from a particular location in New Jersey.
Okay.
And so we were part of that collection, and it ended up being in the Smithsonian for a while. It was in Prominent Magazine. I don't know if any of you guys remember Cigar Aficionado of all magazines.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, here, give me a second here.
Yeah, grab it.
So it became a pretty popular collection, and there was a book. I think this came out in '96 called The Blue Guitar. See that?
Yeah.
Hardback book, and it was let's see if it turns. And it was the foreword was written by that's the Jimmy D'Acquisto headstock.
Wow.
But the foreword of the book was written by none other than, let me find it, none other than this guy.
Uh-huh. There you
George,
go. Mr. Benson. Mr. Benson.
Benson.
Yes. So here we are. We're in chapter 5 here. That's us. I don't know if you can see that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's Jim and I. You see that?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's this book is a hardback book. It came out in '92. So there was a very popular and famous collection. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
so what happened to the collection after?
Well, Scott Chenery died
Right.
shortly thereafter. And in recent times, it was sold by someone else. And I think they're in the midst of kind of maybe revising it and putting it back in museums and things like that.
Wasn't it from Japan or something of that nature?
Well, it was speculated that somebody from Japan bought the collection.
Okay.
But I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
I think it's an American guy who has the collection now. But
Okay.
I haven't been following that these days. It's just,
Yeah. But that was so impressive, though. Gosh, I mean, just amazing. And I remember that time when y'all were in the midst of it, but I remember you taking me over to Jim's house and seeing some of the, just the raw material, how it was.
it was a fascinating. It was a great opportunity. It's a rare opportunity for anybody to meet. To me, the archtop guitar is the guitar equivalent to a grand piano as far as design and style. A grand piano is just not any piano; it's a grand piano.
Yeah.
And it has a particular style or sort of particular facets of it that you don't touch. You don't mess with that. Same thing with the archtop. People get a little creative with it, but it still has some things that are still true to what that guitar is.
Right.
So I'm curious, Maurice, like what's the process of the design time when you're doing a guitar? Are you also on that day-to-day, step-to-step process of the design?
Okay, so your question was, what's the process or the timeline?
Yeah. Right. Well, what's the process of when you designing an instrument?
Okay. And I'm not going to take the credit of being a designer or illusionaire because I'm not. I was the marketing guy. I did work with Jim every now and then. I cannot take his. But anyway, I would watch one thing. One of the main things is finding a good selection of wood. Certain woods, whether it's curly maple, tiger stripe maple, any type of wood that's conducive to a nice, brilliant tone and look. So Jim was very good at that because that was the nature. That's what he did. He was into wood, and then he'd find some good selections to represent the top and the back. Usually the top is maybe maple or spruce, something light, so it sounds reflective, and then he'd find something that would represent the back of the instrument, the back, and sometimes he could get it out of one piece of wood, or sometimes he'd have to do something called book matching. You slice the wood and glue them together, and you have a twin of each side, but it's called book matching.
Yeah.
And it starts out by nearly a half-inch thick when it's done, and then he used something called a stair-step system. He would draw lines around the contour of the shape. He would already cut out the shape of the body and draw lines, a succession of lines, and then he would take a router and start in the middle at the deepest point, and go around in the next level, a stair step up, go around next until he's all the way on the outer perimeter. That's very rough and rugged.
Yeah.
And then take a sander and make it smooth. But he would do the same thing. He'd flip it over and do that stair step pattern again. Mm-hmm. It's very painstaking. But he'd take what do you call those things? A grinder with a It was quite a process. Then you get down to its refined form, and it was fascinating to watch.
It is. It really is. Of course, you had a great part in it though, as far as the design, because didn't you do the headstock? And stuff like that.
Yes, when I first met Jim on the headstock, he wasn't really into he was just now beginning to build trying his hands for the first time with archtop guitars.
Mm-hmm.
It built solid bodies as far back as 1953, but this is his first time doing a nice, grand, majestic archtop guitar.
Yeah.
So he had the core of it, and on the headstock he had a piece of paper with the name written on it, so I could see it was still in the concept stage.
Mm-hmm.
So when we met, me being the artist, I asked him, "Hey, man, can I, design your headstock, the headstock logo?" So we came up with the look, came up with the look of it.
Yeah.
And the first model was called the Manhattan, so it needed to look nice and majestic. So I designed all that, and also I did have a hand in designing the solo flight model that I play now. It's a 14-inch lower bout size with 2 1/4-inch thick bout,
Mm-hmm.
and a broken. We used a broken F hole, not a traditional F hole. See if I can find one. And every guitar here has a traditional F hole. In the early days, all of the guitars had a traditional F hole.
Oh man, yeah.
And later,
Those are hold that picture up one more time, Maurice. Those are all different ones that you guys did, wasn't it?
yes,
Oh, nice.
Man. Mm-hmm.
yes. The red one laying on the floor
Yeah.
is one. That's a prototype type of the one that I play today. I still have that.
Yeah.
The black one that's standing up.
Uh-huh.
Built that for Dave Stryker in New York. That's where I delivered that.
Wow.
And the one that's standing up, the blonde one behind the body of the red one, that's the Charlie Christian tribute that we built.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually have that, and a few other Gibson models that Gibson built for us.
Sweet.
Very nice.
They're high end, very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know some buyers who want to make an investment,
So, Maurice, were you self-taught?
yes, for the most part. I have to say I took about 2 months worth of lessons from a guy by the name of Rick Clark, and I write about that. But after that, it was to the point. He was lived in El Reno. I think his background was kind of like rock and that kind of stuff. He was an older guy. I think he was maybe in his 40s when we met. So he played that old rock kind of stuff. I say old rock, maybe Beach Boys kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I'm learning. Whatever he could teach me, it was wonderful. But it got to a point because my ear was jazz for whatever reason that captured me in some aspects of R&B, but it was out of the realm of what he taught, and I just wanted to take it a bit further from what he was doing. But he did introduce me to how to hold it and different things like that, and some various concepts. And I was quite ambitious, so I really wanted to learn now.
Yes. Yeah.
He give me these assignments, give me some music to read, and okay, come back the next lesson, and you study that, and you play that. Man, I used to come back and memorize that stuff, and I wouldn't read nothing because I didn't learn to read that stuff.
Maurice was amazing when he played his octaves. He played with his thumb, like he's doing like on a bass. Okay, then he'll hide that pick somewhere in his hand. Then when he get ready to pick it, he'll pull that socket out and he gets to strum it right there. Boy, that was amazing to me.
It's an art, isn't it?
It's an art.
I'll tell you guys something. Since 2014, when I released the Peace, Love, and Jazz CD, I wanted to have a warmer sound, more timbre, more authoritative. So I decided to play the majority of that is with my thumb, the melodies with my thumb. So by doing that, I sacrificed speed. I couldn't play as fast as I used to play. I was known for all the quick licks and the fast runs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So when I did Peace, Love, and Jazz, a lot of my melodies were slower and relatively romantic, so to speak. And lo and behold, I've always been a pick player, and I've had, like he said, I'd have my pick buried between my knuckle, my finger here, always ready, and I could kind of whip it out, almost a sleight of hand thing, when I use my pick or do a harp gliss or whatever. And now today when I play, I just played a gig the other night. Man, I gotta say, I use my pick about No, I use my thumb at least 95% of the time. I rarely use a pick. It's to the point a pick feels awkward in my hands. It's to the point now. I used to have heavy strings, and I still have heavy strings. Everything is feeling heavy and awkward.
Yeah.
And I know I'm at a point of transition as a guitarist, and I've had to make a lot of adjustments the way I play because for whatever reason I'm not surrendering my thumb and getting back into the pick. It just feels awkward to me. I'm either gonna go to a lighter gauge of strings, or I'm seriously considering. I've been wanting to do it anyway. Doing some work with a nylon string guitar and recording with some nylon is much easier on your fingers. It's less taxing physically, and it's a whole different ball game. But I kind of see myself possibly going there.
I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever, performing wise, have you ever had one of the strings break on you while you were performing live?
Yes, I did. That's not uncommon, but one uncommon thing, a lot of guys. Now, do you play guitar? Do you play guitar?
No, I don't.
Okay. One of the most common strings to break is either the high E string, maybe a B string. One night I was playing at a place, back then it was called the Eagle's Nest. It was a rotating tower, very nice restaurant, and it rotated. And so, but anyway, there was a guitar player, and I just met him that night from Pittsburgh, same place George Benson was from.
Yeah.
He was sitting out in the audience. So anyway, that night I had a trio, me, a bass player, and a drummer. Trio for the whole night. Somewhere early in the gig, my A string broke. You know what I mean, Jerry?
Yes.
The A string of all strings. Lord. I did not have another string.
Oh.
Not an A string.
I didn't get that.
Oh,
Could you try again?
No, I'm not trying. That's some Siri. I'm sorry. She didn't get that. But anyway, that happened. He was out in the audience, man. And because I'm playing lead, melody chords, all that stuff. And I had to just suddenly readjust my playing. It was a challenge, and he knew that challenge.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's how we met, and he came to obviously respect what I did because he saw I had to wrestle with that all through the night.
Right.
It's instantly it's like you drive around a town, then all of a sudden overnight they start putting all these one-way streets here. You can't go down that street anymore like you used to. You got to figure out another way to go around there.
Yeah.
And that's what it was playing the guitar, man. Because some pieces I played some challenging pieces. I said, well, man, can't do that anymore. I got to quickly think on my feet. That was a challenge. But yes, I have broken the string.
Oh, wow. And speaking of strings, I always think about it all the time, when I pick up a guitar and play, because, you were very instrumental in, for me, to learn my very first chord. I remember, a kid, when I first got my guitar, I don't even know if you remember it, but I was probably 16, I think, 16, 15 or something like that. I was still in high school, and I remember my dad bought me that little solid body guitar up at Otasco. I remember getting that right before and you were the person to go to, man. I took that thing to you, and you put my fingers on the strings and made me press on it and all that stuff. I just remember all that. So, like I said, I always give it up to you, man. Yeah, through all those years watching you on the porch playing over at your aunt's house.
You don't have where I start.
Man, oh my gosh. And and I remember like when I used to come and watch you on the porch, I know you were so influenced by George Benson, and it's just amazing, the stuff that you used to play just like him. I mean, I could never tell, and everything, but over the years, I mean, it was a point where you actually got to meet George, didn't you, and played on the stage. Yeah,
we one of the last gigs that we did before the band broke up after 5 was in '93. So, and that was the open for George. And man, I always kind of knew that I would end up meeting him, being out here and what things we were doing. that I'd end up meeting him, but I didn't know we'd be opening for him.
Right.
So yeah, and that was the same time that we had just finished building an instrument for Dave Stryker in New York. And about 2 weeks later, I would be heading to New York on a plane, and that would be my first time flying.
Yeah.
So I was kind of nervous about the George Benson thing, but I was more nervous about flying than anything else. Going through all these things.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so we opened for George, but it was very cool because there was a moment before the concert began. George is sitting off stage, and we're both sitting off stage, off the side of the stage, and here's George, my hero, guitar hero, sitting in a chair, warming up with his guitar. I mean, just going at it, everyone. I'm sitting in front of him, leaning forward, looking. I know when he's out there watching his hands go everywhere. Yeah. And I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I don't know." Because I remember when I used to do those runs, I was thinking and preparing myself to do these long runs. I say, "Well, heck, if George Benson don't know, I don't know."
But Reese, didn't he pick up your guitar and play it?
He did, and he let me play his. He had a type of a new one that they were producing, and he put that one in my hands, and I was playing it. Very cool. And his technician standing nearby because there's a guy who handles his guitar. Yeah. So, but yeah, he did that. And he played one of Jim's, and I have to say, it was Jim had to evolve. And think they weren't as smooth as they were in the early days of those guitars. But Jim had come a long way with each subsequent instrument that he built. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but it's an interesting story. Every opportunity, great situation.
Yeah.
Great story. If anything, all of the things that I've experienced, I may have not made a whole lot of money for them, but they all make great conversation pieces. They really do.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
I want to ask you, Mark, any words of wisdom or anything you can share that George shared with you that you can share with us?
One thing he said, I remember him saying something to the effect of, it wasn't no musical thing. He says, we have nothing to prove. I have nothing, nobody needs to show that you're the baddest guitar player and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, me, I'm 63 years old. I think my attitude has changed a whole lot about the guitar and music and some of those things. It's not as, I used to identify almost solely as that guitar player. And I feel that I'm kind of freeing myself from that. I'm not just a guitar player, and I've always known that and felt that and wanted to convey that. But the guitar is just an extension of. It's another thing that I do. It's another instrument or like a pen that I choose to write with or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if that makes any sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Very cool.
Boy, I tell you. Boy. Hey, G, let's go to a break and play a little of some of Maurice's selections.
Sounds good.
Like
Sounds
that.
like a good idea. All right, we're going to play a little bit more, some Maurice music, and then we'll come back and continue with musician, artist, and author, Mr. Maurice Johnson. So y'all keep it locked right here, and we'll be right back. All right.
Sorry that it took this long for me to understand. You wanted me to love you like no.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and you just got through hearing some wonderful music from our music guest today, Mr. Maurice Johnson. And Maurice, we were just reminiscing as we were listening to some of the old tunes, and of course, we were talking about your book and some of the episodes in the book, man. It was bringing up some of the memories and stuff, and I remember. I actually wanted to kind of bring this one up because it was kind of a funny deal. But back in our town, El Reno, where we lived and grew up and everything, there was excerpts where you mentioned about when we were kids about this legend that was everybody that lived there that knew about it. The purple tongue lady.
Oh yeah. We all remember that. That's a big part of us all.
Yeah.
Well, that's really no doubt because, like I said, I'm 73. Hell, it was a part of me. I don't know where it came from, but it was a part of me too. That's coming up.
Right. Yeah, like I was saying, Gary, I wasn't sure whether I should include that or not, but apparently it means something to somebody. We all can relate to it. But I remember sitting on Booker T steps and. When it's time to go home, somebody hollered the purple tongue lady, or she's somewhere in the back of your mind. And you sure don't want to be going down Cattle by the park.
Right.
That's where she lives.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
At night.
So I guess for the ones that are watching and listening, so the whole deal is, in this town, when we were kids. There was a rumor out about this lady, and y'all might correct me on how the story went because it was like, at a certain time of night, I guess, this lady, Maurice, you might tell it better. Tell us your version.
Well, the purple tongue lady is our local urban legend in El Reno.
Yes.
Among all the kids who grew up in our side of town, and I'll say I'm 63. I remember it well when I was coming up. Ray just conveyed to me, he's 10 years older than me, 73.
Yeah.
He remembered them talking about it when he was a kid. So the story of the purple tongue lady has been around a long while.
Yeah.
So I guess she's now not only urban legend, she's local folklore as well that resides in the minds and within the fears of some of us who want to be scared or think of something like that. But yeah. She's the one that when we were kids, when we'd have to walk home at night, especially by yourself, you'd really be looking over your shoulder, looking around, and really scared, thinking about the purple tongue lady. And I think everybody in that little area, when they grew up in town, they have their own urban legends as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the purple tongue lady, but I'm sure there's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have one of those houses or neighborhoods of kids, growing up. I can remember growing up in Ohio. We always had that one street, everybody, don't go past that house, or if you go past this certain house, we would just all take off running.
Yeah.
Don't go past that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Maurice, what's one of your most fondest childhood memories that you can share?
One of my most fondest childhood memories. Oh my gosh, you're gonna catch me off guard with that one. I guess I had a lot of fond memories. Well, I'd have to say the park. Those were really happy times for a lot of us when we talk about between 1968, the early 70s. But growing up, when as I described things at the pool, the concession stands. That was, if everybody remembers that,
Mm-hmm.
Ran by my Uncle Oscar.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember jumping out the pool. We had the tennis court, and on hot summer days when there wasn't a lot going on the tennis court, and we were tired of swimming for a moment, wanted to take a break. We go and lay out on the tennis court in the sun, and we talk. Yeah, you guys remember that? You ever do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do that. Then the following year they put a volleyball there, that kind of thing. So we played volleyball, and then one year they finally put a basketball court up. Put basketball goals, and that just ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the park was good. When people park their cars, they have the 8 tracks and all that kind of stuff, listen to music, and great fun time. Really worth.
Shit, them old heads be over there getting drunk on across the creek there, talking noise.
Right on the side with the purple young ladies. That's her side.
That was her side.
Yes. Yes, it was.
It was some fun times. That had a little swimming pool. Gabriel was talking about how he got in there and pushed him down to the middle of the pool. Hell, it wasn't number 3 feet.
I think I might have been only 2 feet tall that time. At the time.
Look here. I remember we used to run, from outside the pool and dive into that pool, but missing that barrel that sit in the middle where the water be spouting up.
Oh yeah.
Every time. We was masters at that. But we played a lot of tennis. We learned how to play tennis on that court and different things like that. Then, like I said, they put a volleyball court up there. But the volleyball court was still basic. You just take it down and put the tennis net up there. But then they turned around and made a basketball goal out of it, full court out of it.
They're turning this under.
Boy, but I tell you, it was some full times down through there.
Yeah.
A lot of full good times.
You know that, and I always equate this to archaeology. Archaeologists, if I'm saying it right, they're digging up or excavating these old where civilizations were.
Yeah.
And layers and layers of dirt, they find a building. They find they keep doing. They find a city. Same thing happens around us all the time. And that was one thing when I wrote this book, was to kind of keep the real history of where we came from, where I came from, the streets where I live, alive, so to speak. Because right now, as we speak, because things go to the earth. That very pool that we're talking about is underground right now.
Right.
It is. It sure is now. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that will never be. The current generation, younger generation, they will know nothing about it unless somebody tells them about it or writes about it.
That is so true. Because I thought about that the other day when I drove, because I actually drove by there, and I was like, wow, that's
they got benches on. I think they got benches on there, plants or something, don't they?
Yeah. A few weeks ago, man, right on the corner of Arapahoe, Ellison and Arapahoe, where Grandma's house was.
Right.
Well, that property's been sold now. Well, man, there's a privacy fence all around it.
Yeah.
Almost for 60 years that has been open.
Right.
So I was, it was really something to see that. And then right around, people just didn't know the landscape right around the corner. Mr. Russell's house.
Yeah.
So Russell store and Mr. Sanders. There was a whole life there.
Well, you had. I can tell you, you had Russell. He had his barbecue place there.
Oh yeah.
And in the front, on weekends the older folks be there, but on Sundays we had the back end of it where they had all the instruments. Okay, then they had all the instruments back there for the kids to learn how to play the instruments. What else was going on around there? Okay, then our school. It was the most modern school that it was put there. Besides that, El Reno High is just older school, but our school was most modern because it was from the 1st through the 12th grade there till they integrated. And we had a hell of a basketball team, football team, and band out of there. The school's still there and everything. What else was going on around through there?
Gray now, it's just.
Where a lot of us learned how to swim because we went too far from the North Canadian River jumping off the train track. So that's how I learned how to swim, because I was thrown in there. I had to learn. So, so like I said, diving in that 3-foot pool, it was nothing. Yeah. Shoot, I could have been Mark Spitz the way I was going around with that swimming and going on. But the times they was growing up, and when I was growing up, it was good times. We had doctors. We had a grocery store. We had hotel. We had pool hall, and we had a lot right there in that small community, you know. And I had 2 grocery stores, matter of fact. Yeah. Then we had some joints, some juke joints as they call it. I didn't know what juke joints was until I come to Texas, you know. But we just had some joints like the Blue Moon. My dad and mom used to run the one across the tracks, up under the tracks. But it wasn't crossing, it was up under the track, called the Playhouse.
Oh yeah, I remember that, because I remember my dad going in there for a minute, and I was sitting. He left me in the car. He said, "Stay here for a minute." And I remember he went in for a little bit and came back out. But I do remember that, right across the track, because it had that what was it, like rock kind of.
Well, it's out there where Leland Robinson stayed.
Leland stayed. Yeah.
That's what the Playhouse was.
Where the garage is. Yeah.
The other one was what we call a Sudden Place, but it had some of the name was like.
Yeah, you're right.
Built out of rock.
Then
right. Up under the tracks, where my dad found he bought the house, used to be a juke joint there, you know, and plus it had a 2-story house back in the back where they leased rooms out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was a full community.
Yeah, it was.
You know, of people that took care of people.
Another thing that that I got out of the book too, that really made me think about the, I guess, how the city evolves as far as being built up, because I remember I was reading in your book where you talked about when you guys first came here, you came on the train, and see, that brought a memory too, because for some reason I have a really memory. I got to ask my mom about it, but I do remember being on the train one time and laying my head on my mom's lap, and so we were on that train for something. I don't know where we were going. We might have been going to Kansas City, because she had family in Kansas City, and that may have been a way that we traveled. I don't know. I don't remember. I do remember being on that train, because it's just that brought some memories. But then another thing I wanted to bring up was you talked in there about when you guys were here, the roads and stuff in our neighborhoods were dirt roads.
Yes.
And see, that's what threw me too, because I was like, that makes sense, because I have an old photo where my mom is holding me as a little baby on that same street where Russell's was. And
on Cheyenne,
because we lived in an old house right there there. And when I look at it, you can see the dirt out there on the road. So you're right.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And the thing was, you had a few inside bathrooms. You had a lot of outhouses. Put it that way. I said, oh boy, people going here getting water, hauling water, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So not only do I remember the dirt roads, I do remember when they started developing the roads. At Grandma's house, that gave me a front row seat, so to speak. I could stand on Grandma's porch and watch it all happen.
Right.
Even when they put the complexes Broadwood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All that stuff, man. It's fascinating to watch.
Yeah, but it was a small town, but people got along with people. There wasn't no crime there, It's just people enjoying people, and stuff like that, like I always said, it take a village to raise a village. And that's what there was. It was nothing but a village.
True.
And, and that comes from what? Our African heritage.
That's right.
That's right. It take a village.
Yeah, and they don't have neighborhoods like that. I mean, I can remember just growing up where this neighbor, if my mom or dad was at work, this neighbor looked after us until maybe they got home, or you could stay the night here. But now, today, even I think in my own community, barely your neighbors. Some of them barely even speak. I don't even think I know.
Exactly.
That's so true.
Some of your neighbors you don't even know, and that's another reason why I talk about Aunt Maggie. Aunt Maggie was everybody's Aunt Maggie. If she whooped your butt, you likely get a whooping when you got home too.
Yeah.
Which one you talking about, Miss Maggie Chapel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she tear your ass up.
Maggie.
She tear your ass up.
You can't do that today.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't do it today, right?
You can't do it today, yeah, but she tear your ass up, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know one time, boy. Look here. We was in the store, and called TGNY.
Yeah.
And
TGNY.
I said, no, it was me, Dwight, and it was somebody else. I forgot who it was. And so they got to stealing. I didn't pick up nothing because, I wasn't fooling with that. Look at Miss Anna Faye Nixon saw us and the people stopping the boy. Look here. When we got home, we got an ass whooping from my grandmother and grandpa. Then when my dad and my we got 4 whoopings that day. And I had none of that one thing. 4 whoopings. 4 whoopings. Lord. Miss Anna said, no, I ought to give y'all a whooping. And she said, but no, I'm gonna let your grandpa and your grandma take care of this one. Yeah. Boy, we got 4 whoopings in that one day, boy. Look here. I learned my lesson. Don't go in the store with them Negroes. No more. That was it to me, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I can remember a time, like, even back when I was growing up as a small kid, if I got in trouble, it's like the principal knew my mom, my grandparents. Yeah. So the principal would call my mama. My mama, when she got home, I had to hear the talking. My mama would call my grandmama and say, I'm finna whoop this boy. Well, what'd he do? And then my aunt would my grandmama get on the phone and talk to my granddad. And it was like a conversation. Everybody like, we getting ready to whoop this boy.
Yeah.
Boy, you lucky. You lucky it was just conversation, Kay.
I got a whooping now. I
know you got one, but you didn't get no 4 or 5 in one day.
No. No, I didn't get that.
Oh no, boy.
Yeah. But everybody did know them days, didn't they? They're gonna find out somewhere.
Somewhere. Just like when we go to the movie, we had 2 movies houses. One was in the main part of town, and the other one's on the other side, on the next street over where all the blacks went to. Mm-hmm. And boy, I tell you, you couldn't go to the other movie. But we tried. Shoot, this one boy got cut up and he said, I want to see the white of you. I want to see if you gonna bleed. He said, white boy cut him, boy, his arm laid open. He said, well, yeah, your blood is red as mine, but your meat is just as white as mine. I said, boy, this is plumb crazy.
Wow.
But you had some prejudiced people there, but you had some good people there too. And right today in that area, all companies is coming down through there, wants to buy your land and buy your property and, give you a check to, for your for the oil that they're gonna extract from there, because at that park in that creek, we can see oil coming up in the creek in the water. Oh, wow. So it's been oil there all the time. Mm. But I'm just glad I got a piece of it. I ain't giving it up either. Man, if you were raised in that small town, it would have been a lot going on. Everything was going on. That's right.
Well, before we get out, run out of time, because we still got about another 16, 17, 18 minutes. But Maurice, I want you to tell us a little bit about what's next. I mean, because I saw where you were possibly going to be doing maybe an audio version of your book. Are you working on that?
I haven't begun that project, but I'm seriously considering it. I know it'll be a a pretty good sized undertaking, almost just as as the book was itself. But that's one of the next things I may have slated. I have a tendency to go a little bit overboard as far as doing a lot of things. So I have some excerpts where I have some music and things like that I've done, and I can't see doing a whole audio book like that because that would be very labor intensive. But
I can imagine.
I have some here and there, some sound, some enhancements, some things. But I can't say when I will officially be starting. I've been looking at that the past week. This past week I got a little bit sick. Maybe within the next couple of weeks I'll maybe begin that.
Yeah.
So
because I heard one of your samples that you put out there. I can't remember which one it was, but it was really cool because I was like, oh man, this really puts you there, and you had the theatrics of the music behind it and everything. I mean, it was just great, and your narration was just on point.
It's on point. Yeah, I heard it the last time when I was at him, man. I picked up the book. I made him autograph my book. Look here, I'm not buying nothing online. I'm coming to the house and get this book autographed.
And just so anybody knows, if you ask, I do have it in large print, Ray. In large print for old eyes.
Yeah.
No doubt. Version. They're two physically different sizes.
Yeah.
I would say this to everybody: go online. You're gonna tell them where you can pick up the book anyway. But go on there. It's a good read. I think you need to submit that as a movie. A life story of Maurice Johnson. Extravagant entrepreneur. However you want to call it. That's Reese's Pieces.
Well, thank you. I like to look at it as just life through the eyes of Timmy Johnson.
Well,
young Timmy. It's not about just my story. We all in the story. So
right.
Well, it's all in the story. But like I said, I've been holding it back so I can wait to read my portion.
Ooh, right.
So Maurice, if they ever make a movie about your life, what would you want the title to be? And who would you want to play you about your book?
That's a big question. If they made a movie about my life,
you never know. Hey.
Well, I mean, I like the idea of. I mean, if they made it, based on this book.
Yeah, based on the book.
Well, the name that's right there, Dragonfly Summers. That's because it has its own significance. It's certainly not the life story of Maurice Johnson. No, I wouldn't. Who's Maurice Johnson? It's just a little young man of color that grew up in a they had faced tragedy, lost his mother at an early age, and sharing what life was like between the 60s and 70s in a small Oklahoma town. That's it. It's not about, hey, this is Maurice, this is my story. No. I think my story or stories is relatable to many people. Surprisingly, a lot of people contact me. Like I said, I got an email today from someone, not even my ethnicity. And it was a long email about the books, and they just finished it. But I get a lot of that. So, you're going to say something, Marie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to make a movie, the hell, I want to play me.
Yeah. I'm not the one who have the authority over that. So if
but we don't need to change no names, though.
Yeah, but as far as the book is concerned, I kind of like the name, but
I know you like the name, but if there's a part in there for me, I want to play me. I don't need no act. I want to play me.
Oh Lord!
Oh my goodness! So picking up on your title though, what made you actually title the book? Yeah.
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot, but yeah, Dragonfly Summers for me implies childhood innocence. Dragonfly Summers. A lot of people like to go into the meaning of what the meaning of a dragonfly, so forth and so on. I don't look at it that deep, but I look at that first and foremost as childhood innocence. And like I was saying earlier, the subtitle, "A Dream Before Tomorrow," is, I lost my mother in 1964, and during those times of childhood, we all as children had those childhood dreams of flying and all this kind of stuff. And next thing I know, my siblings are waking me up and saying, "Timmy, wake up, Mama's in the hospital."
Yeah.
And the dream before tomorrow is because when tomorrow came, things would change. My mother would be gone and life changed. So it was my last childhood dream before tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense.
It really does. And of course, I used to remember as a kid, being fascinated by dragonflies, seeing them flying around. I used to kind of be like, wow, and as a grown person now, I don't really, something I probably should do is take a little bit more time from all the bus and everything and just appreciate nature and get out and see things. You forget about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah. But it's that book, man. I tell you, it's a great book, man. And I just want to give you
any book signings you gonna have, Maurice?
Yeah, I have a book signing September the 2nd in El Reno. It's actually my book launch at Carnegie Library. So they proposed that to me, and I felt that I anticipated doing something in Oklahoma City, which I will do.
Yeah.
But I think it's quite appropriate since the book seems to is more comes from the perspective of El Reno, and I'm pleased that the town embraced it, and enough to offer to do the book launch at the local library there. So September the 2nd, from 5 to 7 in El Reno.
Well, evidently they're gonna put it on the shelf.
Possibly.
No doubt. Yeah. Hey, before we get away from here, we need to get a hold of Kay.
Who?
And then Jazzy Kay there. Let me speak of who he is a little bit. We through with you.
Hold on, Ray. Before you through with me, you're gonna ask me, where can you find your book, Maurice?
That was coming up. Where can you find your book at?
No, go ahead. Finish.
So we can do that at the end. When you find your book, let's get into Kay right quick.
Yeah.
Boy, Ray be throwing curves and stuff. Don't he?
They know how I am.
Okay, but that is a good look, Ray. Let's real quick before we do close out. So, everybody, you all see we have Jazzy Kay here, Kay Ward with us, and he was nice enough to come in today and hang out with us and host with us today. But for the most part, Jazzy, why don't you let everybody know about your whole platform, because you have like two platforms. You may have more that I don't know about, but yeah, I'm gonna give it to you, man. Talk about that, and then how you got started with it real quick, because the radio broadcast that you do every Saturday, that's at the university there, right? Is that correct?
Right. At Alabama State University. So I've been there now in radio almost 30 years.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, almost 30 years at WVAS on the campus of Alabama State University. So the show is every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon Central Standard Time. So I've done probably just about every shift at this radio station, from early mornings, but my thing was really overnight. I started doing midnight to 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I did that for about 8-10 years overnight, doing that, going to school, still working another job, because a lot of people think there's just a whole bunch of money in radio.
It's not. Right.
It is not. So my folks was like, okay, you want to be a DJ? Okay, what's your other, what's your other occupation? You got to have something else on. But I didn't. A lot of people thought I majored in communications, but I actually majored in business and history. So being like a historian. So I mean, I've worked for like with Julian Bond. And a lot of people, when I mention the name like Julian Bond, they're like, who is Julian Bond?
I know who Julian Bond is.
Right, yeah. So people like Congressman John Lewis and, you know, so, you know, working in history and I know I'm getting off track here a little bit, but it goes back to my grandmother was an educator here in Alabama. And she always wanted me to be a school teacher. And I was like, no, Grandma, I don't want to be a school teacher. So the way my grandmother put her way through college, you know, she told me how she picked cotton, how important education was, my parents. And so my grandmother also used to work at Montgomery Fair, the same store that Rosa Parks, when she was arrested in 1965, you know, for getting the bus. So when Rosa Parks was let go, my grandmother actually was a seamstress. And that's how she paid her way to get through college. And my grandfather also used to sell insurance with Rosa Parks. So my love and thought for like history, and then I went up and just fell in love with history and music. And if you go back and think about music, especially jazz, and I ask a lot of my guests, when you think about jazz and African American community, well, I can go back and even think about the history of like Dr. Martin Luther King. You know, he was a huge jazz lover.
Yeah.
But I guess during those times, I don't know if that was bad music or the devil's music outside of anything else except it was gospel, you know, that they could listen to. So, you know, he would kind of sneak and listen to jazz music. You know, so, you know, moving on, and I remember I met Dr. Stewart, professor at Alabama State University, and I was doing another job, and I always wanted to do radio, and he said, go see Steve Myers. I went over to the station one day, that was back in 1994, and I volunteered, and I think I tell a lot of the young people, the importance of when I grew up, my parents made us volunteer at a lot of places. Yeah. We volunteered. So I did that for about 6-7 months. I got a contract and I've been there ever since. I started doing this show called The Red Eye Flight overnight, which was from midnight to 6 a.m. And so now I do a Saturday Jazz Affair every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. You can stream the station, wvasfm.org. We also do the Nat King Cole Jazz Festival, which is typically in September, October. But, you know, since the pandemic, some of that has kind of, you know, so we're trying to slowly bring that back. So we do have a big jazz fest that's coming up in September.
Okay.
That's a big jazz fest that's coming up. And I also do this show every Monday called Artist Talk. Yeah. I decided to do the show like during the pandemic, sitting at home. So I work from home full time. And I said, well, you know, what can I do? And I said, let's do a show and have conversations with indie independent recording artists. My goal for this show, or my purpose, was to reach those artists that I feel, and you'll hear me say this a lot on my show, that have the it factor. Right. I wasn't looking at the mainstream artists. I won't call any names, but those artists that always get the recognition, that you always see them at the festivals, you always see their name. But what about the unknown, or those artists that are featured on the stage with those artists? So that was my goal, to find those artists, to introduce them on my platform to the world. And when most people when they come on the show, they're like, wow, he's awesome, he's great. But I don't, you know, a lot of musicians, a lot of them may not get that opportunity. Then maybe they even have their music heard, or even if they play with a mainstream artist. I mean, I've had conversations with artists, and I'm like, you played for this multi-Grammy art. I said, well, what kind of opportunities did you get playing for this particular artist? They were like, not really, not too much. So I think that's so important to support indie recording artists. You know, a lot of these artists, again, they're not on major labels. And us as a community, we need to support them. Like when, you know, when they have, like Maurice has his book out. If he has a single, any artist, the single is 99 cents, $1.29. He may have a book that's $12. We spend more than that every day at Starbucks, right?
Right.
So again, it was my way of thanking those artists and anything I can do to support artists. I tell a lot of artists, if I could play every last one of your songs each and every Saturday, Lord, I would. But I promise you, if I don't get to you one Saturday or get you on the show, I will get you the next time. So again, I just thank everybody for their support. And Maurice, I need your music too to add to the show. Yeah. And I just want to thank Gary and Ray and Joyce and everybody just for having me as a guest on the platform.
Oh, absolutely. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, no doubt.
We look forward to having you back for sure.
Yeah. We need to come on your platform.
You sure do. You sure do.
Bring me on.
I would definitely do that.
Boy, Ray's aggressive, ain't he?
You know what the old folks say? Say, closed mouth don't get fed.
That's right.
Very cool. All right. Well, great. Well, Maurice, why don't you let everybody know where they can actually get this book and stuff, and also just briefly talk a little bit about, for the people that may be interested, you might have some people out there that's like, oh, I want to write a book, and you have something to provide for that, I know. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my book is available on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. It's available in paperback, large print, also large print, hardback, hardcover. You can get it on Barnes & Noble, and you can order signed copies directly from my site, mauricejohnson.org. If you happen to buy my book on Amazon and you like it, I please ask you to leave a review, if you would do that. I truly appreciate it. But thank you so much. As far as books are concerned, yes, I do work with many other authors. I have a business called Self-Publish Me, and where we do book design and publishing for independent authors, things like that. We anybody who's writing, but that's at selfpublishme.com, www.selfpublishme.com.
Yeah, because, man, you got it going on, Maurice, man, I tell you.
Boy, look here, that needle will equate to some money.
Yeah. Sure.
Is your daughter Nicole, is she still writing? Because I remember it was a time where she was doing a lot of writing too, right?
Yeah, she's doing many things. She's not writing at this time. Now, my daughter has amassed over 30 books that she's written.
Wow.
The last book she has is a 500 plus page textbook. And so hers is in the genre of for nurse practitioners, and it's pretty heavy, all the things she does. And she's been fortunate enough to sell to a lot of colleges and things like that. But yeah, she's got so many books, she done forgot how many books she got.
Wow.
She's involved in other things beyond just pushing her books. So to grow all the time, and she's become my marketing person, my coach, so to speak. My child just grow and do her thing. She's very proud of her.
That's so cool.
So what is Timmy doing?
Maurice is a manager, or not a manager. He works for what's the name of the company? The big company, the computer company.
Oh, Dale.
Dale.
Yeah.
He's not a man. He works remotely, and when I say manager, he works with international companies, things like that.
Right.
Okay. Everything is remote. Doing real well with that. We have our grandbaby, and she's 12 now, and
wow, she's 12 now.
She's 12 and tall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was looking at Maurice on something. Boy, he's taller than you. Boy, you look like a midget up under him.
Yeah, he's tall. They're really blessed.
Yeah.
He's tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is tall.
All right. Okay, well, it is time for us to get up out of here. But again, I want to thank Jazzy Cave again. Thank you for coming on, brothers. And also Maurice, man.
Thank you, guys.
Great thing you're doing, man. Keep it up.
Thanks for inviting me again. Thank you.
And we look forward to all the other great things you're doing. And of course, we got to get you back on some more music too. I want to.
Yeah.
What I was gonna ask before we go, right quick.
Okay.
What is going? Well, I see Walt in the chat room. What's next for After 5?
Isn't that another show?
It's probably it. That's probably a whole nother show, isn't it?
That's another show.
That is a whole nother show.
That's a big open-ended question.
Yeah, it is.
That's a big open-ended question.
Yeah, I know.
That's
truly another show.
A to be continued type of deal.
That's a big question.
Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. Well, let's get up out of here. I want to give it to you, Maurice. Anything you want to tell your viewers before we get out?
Well, once again, I appreciate you guys. If feel free to pick up a copy. Also, anybody who's a member of a book club, knows of a book club, I would appreciate it if you refer the title of my book and hope they add it to a list.
Mm-hmm.
Any movie producers out there?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
You guys are welcome.
Absolutely.
Maurice, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Maurice. Facebook, Twitter, and you can find Self-Publish Me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn. Okay.
Yes.
That was good.
And anybody writing a book out there, you need to help getting your book published, things like that, you can come to us.
Mm-hmm. That's where to go. That's where to go. All right.
I know somebody that probably needs your help, Maurice.
And you'll actually work directly with me. I'll be your project manager. Directly with me.
Very cool. All right, Jazzy K, why don't you tell everybody the times again on your program, both programs?
Oh, yeah. So Saturday Jazz Affair is each and every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon Central Standard Time on WVAS FM 90.7, Alabama State University. Artist Talk is each and every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can go to kwardradio.com for more information.
All right. Very good. All right, Ray.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, hey, man, look here, Reese. Boy, it's a pleasure having you on there, my cohort.
Thanks, man.
And yeah, no doubt. J. Jazzy Ward. Hey, man, it's good to have you on. It's been our pleasure having you on the show to help co-host us a little bit. Yeah, no doubt, man. Maybe one thing you'll get a chance to come on Artist Talk. I'm an artist with that himself, I
would love to have all of you on the show.
All you got to do is say when and how. That's all you got to do. We there. But yeah, hey, man, it's been our pleasure to have both of you esteemed guests on the show this afternoon. Mm-hmm. But one thing I can say, see you later. Bye.
Okay. All right, everybody. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
Goodbye. you right next to me. I just wanna